If your health of a life coach is worried about having a quiet patch in your coaching business, then this is the episode of the show for you. Together we're going to talk through why having a quiet patch is not the end of the world, how to handle it and what to do so you can get more clients. Let's dive in. Hi there, welcome to the Wholehearted Business Show. I'm Laura. I help heart-centered and highly sensitive health and life coaches get more clients, grow the business and live the best lives while they do it. And today on the show we're talking all about what to do when you have a quiet period in your coaching business. So this can feel like basically all of your inquiries have dried up, maybe no one's joining your email list, maybe you've only got a couple of active clients, and things just feel like they've gone into a bit of a slowdown. Now obviously this is going live at the very start of summer. We're not quite into the summer holidays here in the UK, but I know in other places we are. And this can be a really common period when things slow down in people's coaching businesses. The summer and Christmas tends to be these two kind of times. I've spoken about these on the show before. I will link to the episodes in the description, so do go and check those out. But I know how anxiety producing it can be to feel like all of a sudden everything is stopping and nothing is working anymore, and it can freak you out, especially if you are relying on that financial security for other things. The important thing to remember is this does not mean that your business is broken. It's not necessarily a problem unless you make it a problem, and there's things that we can do to navigate these quieter periods and actually make them a real benefit for you and your business as well. So what is actually going on when your coaching business goes quiet? Again, if you are in the summer or you are over Christmas, this is a really normal time for things to go quiet. We tend to have these peaks and troughs, I think, in the coaching industry, and a lot of coaches won't talk about this because people like to make believe that they have consistent income all the way through the year. To be fair, some coaches do. Some coaches have funnels that work really well all the way throughout the year, and that's amazing, and that's something I'm working on in my business. However, most people will notice some peaks and troughs in their business around summer and around Christmas. If this quiet period is not connected to one of those times, then that might be a reason to have a bit of a deeper look into what's going on. But otherwise, if it's one of those times, it is normal. And I think, again, the overarching kind of conversation in the industry is that everyone's fine, you should be making money all the way throughout the year. But these are really normal things to happen. And it's also not realistic to expect, unless you have built the systems and things in place, for things not to ebb and flow. Sometimes that is just the natural way of having a business. And often it is an opportunity to reflect and look at what needs to change, but not always. Sometimes it is about just not panicking and actually noticing that it is part of the natural ebb and flow of your business throughout the year. So when this leads us to spiral and worry, that can actually be a serious problem for our coaching business, because sometimes what it causes us to do is to do things from a state of panic, and that is not a great energy to be in if you actually want to get results. So what we don't want to do at this time is we don't want to be drastically changing anything in our business, because the likelihood is that there's nothing particularly wrong. And again, what I would say is, if you are noticing that you're having a quiet patch and it's not the summer or Christmas, I would still give it a little bit of time. Often these things just need a bit of time to ride out. What I will say as part of this conversation though, is that one of the things that we do want to look at alongside this, and I'm going to come back to this again and again, is building financial safety into your business at its core, so that you don't get so panicked by these kind of natural peaks and troughs and stuff in your business. I've talked about, again, this before on the show, and I will link to an episode where I've talked about how we create financial safety in our coaching business, and this is really important when it comes to weathering these normal periods. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to just panic and change everything, because it might be that actually nothing is broken, it's just a natural thing that we need to just weather through, or it's a particular time of year. Another temptation when things go quiet is for you to get quiet. Now again, there's pros and cons of this, and we'll talk about some of the things that you can do in these quiet periods to actually maximise things. And I will distinguish between normal quiet periods and non-normal quiet periods. But what I would say is that you going quiet and you not posting, you not marketing, you not selling is not going to help anything. It's just about how you do it and the energy that you do it from. And again, the temptation, I think, when things are not working and things seem to be a bit quiet, is to push harder, is to discount things, is to create new things, is to do all these things out of panic, and that's not helpful. But what we do still need to do is we still need to find a way of showing up, because disappearing is not going to be useful. It's fine if you need to. If you're having a holiday over the summer, it's absolutely fine. Like, I'm going to take 2 weeks off of the show in August, and I'm quite happy to do that. It's fine to take a break. but disappearing completely often makes it like so much harder to gain the momentum back when you come back from it. So just bear in mind that yes, while it's quiet, the temptation might be, I'm just gonna not bother because no one's doing anything and that no one's bothering. It actually makes it more difficult to gain that momentum back when you do come back. So we've talked about what to do when these quiet patches happen. We've talked about the normal, typical times that these happen. We've talked about how to maybe identify if it's not a normal thing, but the importance is not to panic and to give things time to work out as well. And we've talked about how not to take action from that place of panic and to still stay visible. But what else can we do to actually shift this? Because again, we don't want an extended quiet period in our business. And I would go back to reflecting on how do you recognise and map out these quieter periods. And again, if you're a newer coach, you might not have a good handle on these quieter periods. I know for my business, summer tends to be a little bit quieter, and Christmas, kind of December, tends to be quieter. But in between that, I get these big kind of areas of activity where I get lots of clients, I get lots of customers and lots of sales. And I know that's what's predictable, and it means that I can stay calm when things go by the wayside in the summer. However, I also have built systems in my business that make sure that there's no reason to panic because there's still income coming in. So again, it's part of a bigger sustainability picture that you also need to be aware of. But what else can you work on when you're not actually spending your time serving a lot of clients? There's quite a few things that you can do to really maximise these quieter periods so that it supports your growth in the future. One of the first things that you can do is just continue to work with your existing audience. They are there, they have joined your audience for a reason, they're in your email list maybe, in some of your online communities. Work with them, sell to them, talk about what is going on for them now. One of the things I often talk about with my clients is if you are trying to sell stuff during a quieter period, talk about the seasonality of what's happening right now. So if you're a health coach, perhaps, you might want to talk about what's going on for people in the summer. The routines might be really broken up and they might be struggling with that. Maybe they're going on holiday and they have some goals around that. Talk to what is going on for people right now. That is amazing. But nurture your existing audience. Continue to show up for them because they will be the ones who you need to keep warm and keep prepped and keep engaged going into the next period when things will not be quiet. So make sure that you're doing that work with them. Something else that you can work on is just supporting your foundational parts of your business. So this might be re-looking at your niche and message. That's a great one to look at in a quieter period. Looking at your content. Again, if you do need to take time off, if you do want to pull back a little bit, repurpose and recycle existing content, especially if you've been doing it for a while like I have. I have got 200 odd episodes of the show that I could pull out and refresh and re-record without having to come up with new ideas if I wanted to. I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to do that, I might do, but pull out some of those ideas and redo them. But look at your foundations in your business. And for me, the foundations are always your niche and message, your content, like what is it that you're creating for your content and your offers, and really review what's working and what's not, and do work to freshen up, to strengthen, to improve all of those things while you don't have the heavy client load. If you've got more time to do those things, that's amazing. You can also use this quiet period to look at your client experience. Making sure that your clients have a really great experience with you is one of the best things that you can do to attract new clients and to retain existing ones. Again, done another episode of the show on that recently. I will put the link in the description. So make sure that you are looking at that as a project, a piece of work that you can do in a quiet period, so that when clients do start to return and come back, you've got a really beautiful experience for them in terms of onboarding, in terms of the support that they get and the offboarding as well. So really work on that. It's a great thing that's going to strengthen your business for the future. And also don't be afraid to rest. I know I've talked about the importance of utilising this time, showing up and still staying present in people's worlds in terms of your audience, but also it's fine to rest, especially if we're looking at the summer. It's absolutely fine to take some time off. I'm certainly going to be doing that. As I've mentioned, there will be a 2-week break for the show when we get into August, which is when my birthday is, my son's birthday, and it's nice just to take that pressure off a little bit for me, just to have a bit more time. So don't be afraid to rest. It's absolutely fine. And again, recognising that when you do take time to rest, you are going to come back with a much more fresher perspective, much fresher energy that you can plough into your business and get better results in the future as well. And if you are wondering, like, how do I stay visible in the summer when maybe I am going on holiday, maybe I do want to rest more, maybe I don't want to do all these other things, I just want to keep things ticking over, because that's totally fine. And again, as I've already spoken about, like, I would focus on creating one single thing. This is the kind of core way that I market my business, is creating one core piece of content and then using that and sharing it. That would be my recommendation, is to focus on one thing. And it doesn't have to be a video like this. It could be one email newsletter that you write, and that could be the thing that you do. And maybe you pull snippets of that for social media or for YouTube Shorts or whatever it is that you do. But just focus on doing one thing, one small thing. It doesn't have to be a lot. Again, you can sit down and spend half an hour creating a piece of content. Maybe it is just an email to your list. Maybe it's a couple of short videos. Maybe it is a video like this. Whatever it is, just make it really simple. And actually, sometimes that hits better for people in the summer when they themselves are quite busy. Keeping it simple, keeping it clear, keeping it specific and short can be really beneficial. Again, I'm trying to lead by example. This is probably not going to be my longest video, but hopefully having these tips in this format is going to be useful. And also, don't be afraid to still sell. As part of this visibility, it doesn't have to just be sharing content. You can still sell. You can still talk to people and say, hey, I've got some slots available for clients. Why don't you come and work with us now? This is a great time to work with me because, and again, I will say this right now, if you're a coach and you need some support in your coaching business, I do have slots available to work with people one-to-one over the summer. I do take some time off, but I'm still around and present throughout the most part, and I have slots available to work with people over the summer if you want to come and work with me. And it might be a great time for you because it might be that kind of pause in other things that you've got going on. It also is a great time to prepare for September. So that's another thing that I'll be thinking about in this particular summer period. Is September is one of the best times to launch, promote, sell, be ultra visible, do all of those things. The prep has to start now. If you want to take advantage of September, you need to be working on stuff right now. I'm doing that, and I've not done that in years before, but I'm absolutely doing that this year. I am starting to work on the things that I will be putting out in September right now, because I know it's going to take the entire summer at the amount of hours that I'll be working as a single mum to want to make the most of September. So I'm going to be doing that work all the way through the summer. If you want to do that with me and work with me, now's the time to get in touch. And just to finish off again, try and see these periods of your business not as reasons to panic, but as times to actually double down on what it is that you can do. Again, natural peaks and troughs throughout the year are going to happen. Figure out when they are for you, what's normal. If it's not normal, then that is the time to start to look at things, but not panic, because again, things take time to work out and you need to see how things go. But not panicking is the main thing. Having a plan, going with the flow, getting support if you need it, and remembering that your coaching business is not going to be made just on what happens within a month or two. It is going to be made on what happens sustainably over a long period of time. So try not to panic. Check out all the other episodes of the show that I've linked to that are going to give you so many tips, especially the financial sustainability one is really important because you can structure your business to not have these periods so significantly if you find them really difficult. And yeah, I hope that has been really useful, and I hope that everyone is excited, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, for an amazing summer. I've got 2 weeks as I record this left of my kids' school, and then we will be out for summer, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, I hope that you have a good one planned. Do let me know if you found this helpful. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment below. Let me know how things are going in your business over the summer. Do you tend to recognise that you have quieter periods, and how do you handle them? Let me know in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast and you'd like to DM me on Instagram, I'm at wholeheartedlylaura. Do pop me a message over there. And thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week, guys. Take care. Bye.